Hi guys, my team and I wrote the tutorial article How can you start with unit test in React Native. So, in this video I'll guide you through all the steps that we made. And let's begin. Firstly, we have to create our app and we will start with the following command. As you see, nothing special except that we are using TypeScript template in our app, and I highly recommend you to use TypeScript too, because TypeScript make your life better. So we press enter and the process begins. And now we have our template app. It can take a while. In your case, I'm finished. I open my app in editor and I'll type React Native run iOS to see if everything works correctly. It launches our simulator. Here it is, and we can see that everything is great. There is a basic React template, and also we can see a Meta bundler, which converts our JavaScript code into native code. And you can see in package.json that we already have Jest installed and React test renderer out of the box. And also we have our test folders with our first test for our app component. And we can check it out. For run test, we type the following command npm test, press enter. The test started, it runs, as you can see. As you can see, everything is great. We run our single test and it passed. For writing our app, we have to get rid of all of the stuff that we have out of the box in React and start to write our app. Firstly, I want to add another folder, which I'll name src folder. I'll have to add another folder in this components folder. And I want to move my app file to components folder. I like that folder structure in the most, but you can stick to ones that you like. Firstly, I have to get rid of all of that stuff that but as I don't want to stop on writing code for our app, since the article isn't about it, I suggest you to go to our GitHub repository. The link will be also under the video, and see the code there. For now, I would like to stop only to say that I'll use this API advice slip API, which will give us advice slip to show to the user advice. So I installed some additional packages such as Extras for API calls and React Native elements and React Native vector icons. And I finished this step for my app, and we can see how it looks like. So this is our app. We can see that we have here a device. By clicking a button, we will get another device. So let's have another one. As you can see, everything is working. So let's begin write test. For now, we have our app file with our home and our home file, for which we have to write a test. Let's start by write a similar test as we have for our app component. So I simply copy and paste it with renaming to home test. And here we have to change our app to our home and Don't forget to replace it here and here. So we have our test for home with the help of React Test Renderer, which we have out of the box, and we can run npm test. So we type npm test and wait for some time, and we can see that our test is passed successfully. Also, I want to admit that there is such a thing as code coverage. It basically means how much of our code is covered by test, but what is more important, how much of it is successfully passed. To test it, we can run the command just -- coverage and press enter. It takes some time. After executing the command, we can see that both our tests are successfully passed, which is great, but we can see that only 71% of our code is covered by successful test. So we have a lack of successful test, and we can see where exactly it is missing. To increase those indicators, we are going to install React Native Testing Library. React Native Testing Library lets us to test different components in the same ways as user interact with it. For example, it allows us to click buttons, enter your data, and so on. So we need to install it. We can find the installation guide on its site since we're using npm. Let's copy the following command and paste it to our terminal and press run. We successfully installed React Native Testing Library, and now we are going to update our home test. So let's start by get rid of all of it. So we are going to import some things from React Native Testing Library, such things as render and also fire event. We have to describe our home component describe that clicking our button, clicking our button name get another advice gets new advice. It renders new advice we are going to take get by text from our render of home. Here we are fire event press, since we are pressing our button, but there is also another device, as you can see, which is press get by text, and here we have to write the text of our button, which is get another advice. My linter is worrying about some statistical errors, so I'll fix them. And after that, we can just run our test and see that our tests are successfully passed. But for now we know that test can pass, but its coverage can be not very good. So we have to check our coverage. Test minus minus coverage. And let's see if we change something. Yes, you can see that we now increased our coverage up to 92%, which is great. Although it is considered the norm, we want to improve it even more. And as I mentioned in the article, splitting code into separate files is very important. And we have to split our API call into a separate file. So let's move on. So I'm going to create new directory, which I name utils. And I want to add just one file, which I'll name fetch data. And I want to move our API call to this file. Firstly, we can just cut it out, our API. Here we'll write import access from access. Past our API call. After that, we can write a function which we'll name fetch data as our API call. And we return access get API, and then we take our result and return from it sleep. Since it is API call, it has to be promised, so we have to add async await. We have possibility to wait for successful result. In our home component, now we have make some changes. We moved our access. Here we will have data, which we will have from our fetch data function. Since it is async, we have to add a wait also with the result of that function and set it to our state. Data advice. Since our sleep consists both of advice and is aided, but we didn't use ID, so it's only advice. Let's check if everything is great. So here as our app is refreshing and it's still working. Get another advice? Yes, we're getting another advice. Everything is great. So we are going to write mock for our API call. So in our API call, let's create a separate file in our tests folder, which I will name fetch data test. And here we are import mock access from access, and also we need to import fetch data I also will create a const which I'll name test advice. We will need it, and I'll put here some advice from our app, and it is build something out of Lego. Something out of Lego. So let's start. We have to work with the help of just our axis and it. We have to describe what it does, and it fetches advice from API. And it is async. So its call for our app is async. Here we have to write our setup, and we write mock access get mock implementation. Mock implementation. Here we describe our promise. In case it is resolved, it returns to us data. In data we have sleep. Sleep consists of ID. I'll write as something 1 to 3. Not string but number type 1 to 3, and advice, which is our test advice. So we describe it. For work we have to write advice, await, fetch data, because we have to compare it with real API call. And here we have to write what did we expect. And we expect our advice to equal our advice and also we expect our mock access get to have been called at least once. Now we can run our test. Been called times at least one. Now we can run our test npm test. Now we have free test. And since I made a mistake, because everything has to be inside this function body, don't miss to fix that. So now we can run our test npm test. Now we have free tests, and all free tests are passed successfully, of course. Let's check our coverage, minus coverage, to see if we actually improved something. And we can see that we improved our code coverage to 94%. And even more, we improved our code readability. So, let's make a conclusion. As a bonus, you can find in our Too Much Coffee blog a section about React navigation testing, which is very helpful. You can find the setup for it and a little test. As a conclusion, I would like to recommend you to start writing tests right now because it saves you a lot of time and money in future, because everything will be described and everybody will know which component what do. And in future, when you will refactor something, your app won't break. So, thank you for watching the video. Bye.